In the early morning hours of October 26, 2024, Israel launched an unprecedented aerial assault on military targets deep inside Iran, marking a dramatic escalation in the long-simmering tensions between the two arch-foes. The main focus of the Israeli strikes was the Perandak military base located in a remote desert area near Tehran. Long suspected by Western intelligence agencies to house a secret stockpile of missiles, ammunition, and other strategic military assets. In exclusive testimony obtained by news organization from an Iranian soldier stationed at Perandak, the true extent of the damage wrought by the Israeli operation has come to light, painting a picture that contrasts sharply with Iran's official accounts thus far. In a brief televised address shortly after Israeli jets returned to base, Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu said the attack was carried out in response to months of Iranian aggression, including the massive barrage of 200 ballistic missiles that Iran fired at Israel on October 1st. Iran's government has so far refrained from directly retaliating against Israel, instead doubling down on its official line of downplaying the attack's impact. In a statement, Iran's foreign ministry said it considered the Israeli strikes a blatant violation of international law, and that Iran is entitled and obligated to defend itself against external aggressive acts. However, the statement stopped short of vowing specific military action. In the meantime, Iran has sought to tightly control the domestic narrative around the attack. Immediately after the strikes, Iranian authorities moved quickly to censor reports and videos of the incident circulating online. Police patrols warned citizens that sharing any footage with foreign media, especially outlets with links to Israel, could result in lengthy prison terms of up to 10 years, effectively intimidating the public into silence. Despite the threats and censorship, some details have begun to emerge from inside Iran that paint a more dire picture than the regime has let on. In addition to the soldiers' secretly provided testimony about the destruction at Perandak, Iranian state media reported that 4 Iranian air defense personnel were killed in the attack, though no information was given about where they were stationed. With the element of surprise on their side, Israeli drones were able to enter Iranian airspace undetected under the cover of darkness. Upon reaching their targets, they unleashed a barrage of missiles, incinerating key infrastructure at the secretive base. According to the Iranian soldier, the weapons and equipment stored at Perandak are tightly guarded secrets. In Tehran, you won't find a base like this, he said. I've been inside and seen the missile storage myself. There are missiles, ammunition, and military supplies everywhere. If Israel knew about it, there's no doubt they'd try to take it out completely. Perandak may look like an empty desert, but it's the heart of Iran's defense. The fact that the Israeli operation was able to inflict such damage on one of Iran's core bases highlights glaring vulnerabilities in the country's defenses, a reality that has not gone unnoticed even within Iran's own military ranks. As the soldier attested, Iran's armed forces are burdened with aging, outdated equipment, ill-suited for dealing with a modern adversary like Israel. Officers say this was a test from Israel to see if we could respond, but we couldn't stop them, he admitted. The equipment we have is outdated, and Israel's forces are just more advanced. Following the strike, Iranian commanders reportedly ordered troops to stay quiet about casualties and damage, lest weaknesses be exposed. After the attack, they told us to stay quiet. We weren't supposed to talk about the losses or the damage, but everyone knew Israel's systems are just more professional and modern than what we have, the soldier said. The Perandak strike represents more than just a tactical setback for Iran's military. It has cracked the facade of invulnerability that the regime has long sought to project, both to its own population and to the outside world. In carefully calibrating their target list to avoid provoking all-out war, While still exposing the gaps in Iran's defenses, Israel appears to have delivered a psychological blow alongside the physical destruction. One apparent objective was to goad Iran into a response that could serve as a pretext for Israel to go after even higher value targets later, potentially with support from the United States. While President Joe Biden has urged all parties to de-escalate, saying he hopes this is the end of it, analysts believe Israel intentionally held back from bombing Iran's nuclear facilities this time so as not to overstep American red lines too soon. For now, Iran faces a difficult choice in how to respond. Retaliating forcefully and directly risks sparking a broader regional conflagration that could draw in Iranian proxies like Hezbollah and Hamas and invite devastating Israeli reprisals. Already significantly weakened militarily by the war, Iran may not have the capacity to fight a multi-front battle, especially if the U.S. enters the fray on Israel's side. Iran will play down the impact of the strikes, which are in fact quite serious, predicted Sanam Vakil of the Chatham House think tank. In his initial public comments on the operation, Iran's supreme leader Ayatollah Ali Khamenei seemed to leave the door open for a restrained reaction, saying the strike should not be exaggerated nor downplayed. But behind the scenes, Iranian officials are likely debating how to thread the needle of defending the nation's honor while avoiding a catastrophic escalation. Much could depend on the outcome of the November election, where a second term for Joe Biden would likely mean a continuation of the current policy of supporting Israel while counseling restraint. But if Donald Trump, an avowed Iran hawk, returns to the White House, the calculus could change. So long as the regime remains in power, nothing will deter it from its goal of destroying Israel, wrote the Times of Israel's David Horowitz, which is why U.S. President Joe Biden's stated hope that the Israeli strike is the end can have only very limited application. The soldier's haunting words attest to the human element often lost in the geopolitical chessboard, where governments move pieces and anonymous young men and women fight and die. Even in this era of satellite surveillance and precision munitions, the heart of this conflict remains the unresolved struggle between peoples seeking safety, dignity, and justice. In this dangerous dance of escalation and retaliation, against the backdrop of American political headwinds, tensions in the Gulf could easily spiral out of control. What happens in the next few critical days and weeks could determine if the long twilight struggle between Israel and Iran explodes in a final cataclysmic confrontation or retreats from the abyss. The world watches and waits, knowing that whatever unfolds, nothing will be the same again.